All right, so now what I'm gonna do is record a bass guitar. Now, this is a pretty natural progression when it comes to how I like to record these specific instruments or how I like to progress the song over time because we're starting with like the main instrument, which in this case is that piano track, and then we've got a scratch vocal track, and then we've got some drums. And now the most natural thing to add next is a bass to kind of start to introduce and figure out what we want to do with the low end. And so this could be a bass guitar, this could be a synth bass. Now, if you are going for a bass guitar sound, I just want you to be very clear about this, that you don't have to be proficient at bass guitar. You don't even have to own a bass guitar to get this sound. It is amazing the quality of the VSTs that are out there these days. So, I don't own any of them, or at least not any of the good ones. And since I play bass guitar anyway, it doesn't apply to me really either. But if you do want to get a real bass guitar sound, then don't shy away from getting perhaps a VST bass guitar instrument if you don't play bass guitar or don't own one. So there are always ways. Just what I don't want you to do is to fall back on excuses to be like, I want a bass guitar sound, but I don't play bass. So, the number of tools available these days, you don't really have an excuse anymore. If you're going for a specific sound, there's no reason you can't get it. All right, so now what I'm going to do is pretty much hit play, and then I'll record maybe section at a time, and I'll try and figure out as I go what I kind of want to do with the bass, because this isn't one of those songs where I've played the bass and I've gone back and forth and I know exactly what I want it to sound like. I'm just going to play it by feel until I stumble on something or I land on something that sounds good to me. First though, I'm going to stick my headphones on, and we just need to create a new track. So add audio track, label this the bass guitar. And so as far as my input from this bass, I'm just going DI straight into my interface, and should be here. So so we're coming through there. Now I'm just gonna do a quick tuning on this, and then I'm gonna send it through an amp. So I'm gonna tune this up, and I'll see you on the other side. Okay, now that we got this tuned up, the next thing I'm gonna add to this chain is the GTR amp from Waves, and this is my default for whenever I'm recording a bass guitar, and I even have this a default preset that I created myself, and then I saved this preset right here, I saved it as the default. That way, every time I load this GTR amp mono instrument, it automatically starts with this preset. And it has a nice deep tone to it. And so this is what I'm gonna use, and then I can obviously, since it is a virtual amp, I can adjust it after I've recorded the audio. But if you are recording a bass guitar, and even synth bass, this applies as well, try to get it as close as possible as you're recording it in. So this could be everything from recording in and automating in the filters if you're doing synth bass, or if you're on bass guitar, adjust the knobs here. Play around with it a bit and see if you can get the sound as close as possible and get it so that it fits as best you can with the rest of the mix. That way the work on the other side of the recording is easier, and it won't take as long and it won't be as tedious to really dial in the bass guitar sound that you want. So what I'm gonna do now is just I'm gonna hit play, and then I'm gonna play around with the knobs on my bass here.
Summers are cold, winters are warm, you're not here, colors are gone.
Yeah, I think that's good. I want it to be pretty deep. I don't want too many high frequencies, so I turned down the treble knob on here pretty much all the way down. That way we just get a nice, deep, bassy tone that is gonna very much layer in. Then when that low filtered kick comes in, they are going to really play together well and just really occupy that super low space on the EQ spectrum. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to start going section by section. Again, I'll probably fast forward through some of this so it's not too drawn out to watch, but that is the process. I'm just going to start recording in verse 1, see what I land on, see what feels good, and then I'll commit to it and then move on from there. So here we go.
Summers are cold.
That was great. Just hit the wrong note. That's perfect, Marcus.
Summers are cold, winters are warm, but you're not here. The colors are gone, the black and the white is all I see now. Even tequila doesn't taste right, even Coldplay doesn't sound right. Driving my car at 25 is a feeble attempt to feel something good. So I just wish you would.
Okay, I think the first try there, everything was perfect in the verse, to be honest with you. And now the bass, this is an instance where obviously I recorded it, but there is a chance that I'm gonna wait to bring the bass in until the chorus hits. I don't know yet, but since there is a chance that I do want the bass in the verse, I'm just gonna obviously go ahead and record that. And then once we get to step 6 and then step 7, if I think it sounds better to have no bass in the verse and then really bring it in the chorus, we can always cut the verse when we get there. But I think everything sounds good there. And now we go to the chorus. As you noticed here when I played the chorus, the piano chord comes in before the bass guitar, right? So we want to lock those. We want those two instruments, the piano and the bass, to be in lockstep. So I'm just going to restart. I'm going to start a new recording there on the chorus rather.
Feel something good. So I just wish you were here again, and I just wish you were here. What a time, what a time, what a time, what a time it was. Oh, I know it's stupid, but I wish that I could wish you back.
Now, for this interlude, I'm going to throw in something that's a bit experimental. I'm going to try like a high melody that sort of mirrors what the piano is doing. And again, this is an instance where you can go farther than you think you'll actually need, because I don't know if I'll even want a bass there, but I think it could be a nice ear candy element to when that interlude hits, to kind of added a nice high bass guitar riff that follows that lead line that was already present with the piano. So I'm just going to play around with that for a second.
Wish that I could wish you back. It's stupid, but I wish that I could wish you back.
Take that click off. I love that little slide at the end. So again, it's one of those where I might keep it in, I might drop it. It'll just depend on what I feel as we wrap up the post-production and mixing of this in step 7. So let me kind of bring this in here. And now let's focus in on verse 2, see what we want to do.
Pictures on my phone, deleted them all except for one. I made a photograph just to have something physical to remain. As everything goes, seem to fall apart. Why does everything go seem to fall apart?
Okay, so I like the first half. I screwed it up in the second half, so I'm gonna keep the first half and then I'm gonna
Have something physical to remain.
All right, I think we're good with verse 2. I'll listen through one more time to make sure.
These pictures on my phone, deleted them all except for one. I made a photograph just to have something physical to remain. As I think I seem to fall apart. Why does that thing go seem to fall apart? It's so predictable.
I like it, but the second half, I think I misjudged how herky-jerky I want it to be. I think it's a bit more, I think I want it to come off more legato, especially when you consider how that kick drum has that varied pattern. It's moving around, and the kick drum is taking more the position of being that staccato element, and I think I want the bass guitar to remain more of a legato, smooth element in this mix here. So I'm gonna redo that.
Something physical to remain. As I think I seem to fall apart. Why does that thing go seem to fall apart? It's so predictable, but I like to think.
Okay, I like that. I really like that. Now let's move on to the chorus. Do I want to do anything different? Yeah, because I do want to make this chorus different. I'm not just going to copy and paste chorus 1 because the piano chords are different in this chorus. So I'm probably going to have to make some slight adjustments to it and play it slightly differently depending on how those piano chords hit and which beats that they are played on. So we'll keep this moving.
Get if we tried again. I just wish you were here again. And I just wish you were here.
Dang it, that one's tough.
Get if we tried again. I just wish you were here again. And I just wish you were here. What a time, what a time, what a time, what a time it was. Oh, I know it's stupid, but I wish that I could wish you back.
Now, for this instrumental, I'm pretty sure that I don't want the bass to come in here initially. Yeah, I know for a fact that this is how I want it. Okay, now here is where I'm going to introduce, I think, a higher octave on this bass guitar. For the most part throughout this, I've been going down here when we're going to the 4 chord and the 3 chord, which we're in the key of C here, so that will be down to the F and then to the E, you know. But I think for this last chorus, at least for the first half of it, I'm going to shoot up here to the higher octave. And I think that's going to sound really good to have that new variation when that final chorus comes in. But first, let's focus in on this instrumental and really dial in the bass for it. Okay, I realized halfway through I was doing it wrong. I don't need to stop it. I don't need to do this because that's already happening. I want to sustain it a bit more so the track feels a bit more glued together. So I want to do. So still, I can accent those beats and have that rhythm, but I want to keep the notes sustained and not be as herky-jerky. Okay, it didn't come in with enough energy, and I forgot to hit record, so double whammy.
I just wish you were here again.
Okay, so I almost had it, except that beat going from here to here, I didn't quite line it up with the keys, but everything else. Yeah, so I'm just gonna start the recording there on the chorus, and then obviously I can crossfade this performance with this new performance. Oh, forgot where that beat was. Okay, here we go.
Wish you were here again, and I just wish you were here. What a time, what a time, what a time.
Dang it, I almost had it. I want to riff it up and then go back down to that lower octave to really lock in and finish up the finale of the song.
Here. What a time.
Yeah, I think I can keep that little riff in there, and then I'll just crossfade it into come in here, going down to that G.
What a time, what a time, what a time, what a time it was.
Okay, for that, I think I'm just gonna go with steady.
Oh, what a time. What a time, what a time, what a time, what a time it was. I know it's stupid, but I wish that I could wish you back.
Hey, maybe a nice little bass riff at the very end of the song. Who knows? That could work. And so I've got all the recording that I needed. Now let's just kind of make sure the edits are good and the crossfades and everything. So we'll come in here, dial this in. By the way, if you are in Studio One, you can crossfade any 2 takes by hitting X. So if you just click this and hit X, it'll automatically create a crossfade at both sides of this clip here, which is fantastic. So we need to bring this over here. Yeah, so we need to do this. There we go. There we go. That is the bass guitar. Super excited about this one. Bass guitar really is, for me anyway, it's the easiest track to add in almost any song, just because you can usually keep it very simple. It's one of those instruments and tracks that often the more you do, the less good it is. So by no means should you feel pressure to do anything crazy with your bass. Keep it simple, whether it's, again, synth bass, bass guitar, virtual instrument bass, doesn't matter. Keep it basic. Just follow the chord progression and maybe follow the kick rhythm-wise. You know, just kind of play basically whenever the kick plays for the majority of it, and then you're fine. Don't overthink it. Just lay down a simple track that serves the song and that complements the other components that have already been developed in this song. So let's move on. I think next I'm gonna play around with some electric guitar tracks and we'll see what we can come up with there.